Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders Lab podcast. Today, I have a very, very special guest for you guys. Is one of my amazing friend that I met when I was in Kuala Lumpur. Mr. Snow. He took me under his wing as a big brother. Opened Kuala Lumpur for me, connected me, showed me around, introduced me to amazing people, and just in the process, get to know a wonderful human being, a true leader with a heart. And he has one of the most inspiring, empowering, and incredible path and journey in life. And I told him from the beginning, brother, I need to bring you on the podcast, and it's been in the making. And he said, okay, we'll get there, we'll get there. And finally, we're here today. So a little bit about him. Again, I'm just going to summarize it at the very highest level because just his introduction can be 10 minutes, easy. From Joliet, just south of Chicago, big time basketball player back in the day, in the days of the Bulls. And then after that, again, the military. He was a former, I believe you said, the former pilot for the Air Force. Or you work with the Air Force, and then after that, you went into working for the U.S. embassies around the world, and then you were stationed in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and then you decided, hey, this is my home, and you've been there for 14 years, building a new life, wonderful, beautiful life, inspiring life, and you're working on something amazing, which is the eyeballing movement. I just love the motto: play locally, win globally. We're gonna cover all of that. Just as I said, we can do an entire season, me and you. One would be talking about your basketball days back in Joliet and Chicago and all that, and then another one on your military stories. Hey, and one thing about that, one thing that really connected us from the start is that he served in Afghanistan, and me being an Afghan Canadian, that's something that can really resonate with me. So
Yeah.
brother, thank you for your service. Deeply appreciate it. You know. So that was the first thing. Remember when you picked me up in your car the first day we connected? You mentioned, I said, "Oh, that was really what really got my attention the first time." I said, "Holy fuck, we have things in common." But
Yeah.
anyways, and the way we got connected was through one of our common good friends, Beverly Zymet. She was on my podcast, and then she's also one of the contributors of my book, Leaders with a Heart. And when she saw my post on Facebook that I was going from Thailand to Malaysia, she said, "Oh, I have a friend in Malaysia." I said, "Okay, connect me." She connected me, and the next day we met. He took me for lunch at a place that would become almost my office, Marini. You know, it was beautiful. So the rest is story. Anyways, I can talk for hours, but we're gonna dive deeper into your amazing path. So, brother, it's an absolute honor having you on the show. Finally, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, Lorenzo, finally, man, got on your podcast. Um,
Yes.
Before I get started, let me just correct the record just for just a moment there. The
Yes.
introduction was humbly fantastic. Um, yeah, I played basketball, grew up in Joliet, Illinois, playing basketball um, at the high school level. I got signed to play for the junior college there, but I joined the military instead. Air
Mhm.
Force. Inside the Air Force, I worked in aviation operation. I was not a pilot,
Okay.
although I did have the opportunity to fly many airplanes. Um, I'm not a pilot though,
You
so
should.
just that one
Yes.
correction.
Thank you. You showed me
I
some
did go.
pictures of you flying those amazing,
Yeah, I've had after I met you, and I've talked to some others before, and I've had an opportunity to share my backgrounds and what I've been doing and where I've been.
yeah,
I'm coming to the realization that I've had a very, very, very um, amazing life.
indeed.
Struggles, ups and downs, and challenges, but I hands down have had a pretty unique career, all the way up into serving as a military diplomat at the embassies around the globe, as you mentioned, in Afghanistan, the embassy in Bangladesh, and then I wrapped up my business here at the embassy in Malaysia before I retired. For
Mhm.
24 years served in the Air Force, one of my most
Beautiful.
crowning achievements. Served with honor and distinction in the Air Force for 24 years. I did a pivot and started doing logistics for heads of states here in Malaysia, to the likes of President Obama a few times, Air Force One, uh, Prince now King Charles, King Salman, Saudi Arabia. The list goes on and on. former President of France, Francois Hollande from France, on and on and on. So,
Yeah.
but what I'm doing now and what I've been doing lately is my passion project, which has led me to you, and a lot of the wonderful things that you're doing is the eyeballing brand here, as you can see.
We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll talk about that. We'll definitely dive deep into that. But before we start, I want to ask you a series of rapid fire questions. But before even that, for people who don't know you, over and beyond what you just told us, who is Snow as a person, as a man, as a human being?
Oh wow, I don't know how to answer that question, man. Very very I would say humbled, humbling
Indeed.
individual.
Yes.
I grew up in Joliet, Illinois, in the 70s and 80s. I suppose that could be, if you're from Joliet, you might know what that could mean. But I think that I live by the motto: treat people with respect, treat people the way you want to be treated, and then some. Yeah, I'm now living my life just to try to pay back to all those societies that has given me so much.
Beautiful.